Some analysts are saying Tesla's Q1 earnings are set to be a disaster, but they're overlooking a lot of things, as they always do, because bad headlines sell, and these guys sell the most. So let's get some perspective on it. I'm going to be joined today by Herbert from Brighter, a fantastic channel. You got to go check him out. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. So yeah, Herbert, the deliveries were down. So of course, because Tesla is just a car company, that means that we're going to have a terrible, terrible quarter. Do you buy that argument?
I'd like you to explain to me what you're thinking. I mean,
Sure.
obviously, the earnings call is coming on Tuesday, April 23rd, and people are like, the numbers at 386 was very low in terms of deliveries in this quarter, and so you're gonna expect a hit with the earnings, the margins, and the earnings. So, but there's a lot of things that people are not taking consideration. I know you've got that list, so I'm looking forward to your list first.
I do have a list. So let's start here. Megapacks. Do you know that Megapacks don't, unlike a car, you don't pay for it in advance. You don't pay for it
Mhm.
when you take delivery. You pay for it over time. And I managed to find
Mhm.
when. I managed to find the contract. And the answer is you pay for it in part up front. You pay $1,000 of your millions. You pay
Mhm.
a percentage when the site is mobilized, when the target substantial completion date, and then you pay the balance at the final completion date. And these are milestone payments, effective 45 days prior to full shipment, substantial completion, and final completion. These are when you actually pay. So the payment on Megapack is a long tail. People were looking in Q4 at the abysmal
Mhm.
margin on Megapack, but the margin was still positive. All of these payments for hundreds and hundreds of these multi-million-dollar Megapacks had not been fully realized. So there is a little avalanche of cash that will forever be hitting in the
Mhm.
future. So that is something. That's something to consider. What do you think about Megapacks?
Oh, exactly. I've done many shows with Larry Goldberg. He's done deep dive on the Megapack, the revenue stream that's coming. And like you said, that it's not just the initial sale; it's the continuous increase in that, and not just fantastic margin. And it's going to be higher margins, right, than the car business. And so, I think the estimate is that we have 9% of all sales of 2023 came from Megapack, but the margins were already higher than the auto. But by the end of this year, it's going to be double that. And then this is not even including the Giga Shanghai Megapack factory there that was already groundbreaking. So by the end of this year, October, November, that should be in production. And so for next year, everything will, it's exponential. It'll be 4 times bigger than it is what it is this year.
And that long tail will keep racking up. And I'm just
Yeah.
looking at this quarter. We've still got more to discuss here. There is 3.5 billion in deferred revenue sitting on the
Mm.
balance sheet. Some percentage of this is likely to be counted. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I've heard this. People talk about it. Some percentage of it will be counted because FSD is now much more um, functional than it has been. The thing is that it's a one-time thing, and I do agree that investors, specifically institutional investors, will take it out. They'll go, "Oh, it was added, but I'll take it out because it's a one-time thing. It's not this thing that you know what I mean? Like it'll make the numbers look good accounting wise, but not a business thing."
Can you take them out? Well, if we're going to take out one-time bonuses, can we take out one-time losses for things like terrorist attacks? I mean, it's you've got
Good
to
point.
get it
They
on
don't do
both
that.
sides. They
They
don't.
don't do that. They
They
won't do
don't.
that.
But what they do
That's a good
look
point.
at is just
Yeah.
bottom line numbers, and the bottom line
Yeah.
numbers are better. Another reason that they will be able to count more of it is because it's
Yeah.
rolled out in Canada.
Mhm.
All of the people who've purchased it in Canada are able to recognize some we're able to recognize a percentage of that because it is now available. And you say,
Well, it
well,
starts in April though, right? So that will be next quarter. That'll be the following this in the end of this year. I think that the take rate's going to be a lot higher than people realize. FSC 12.3 is very good. This is one of the debates I'm having with some of the institutional analysts. who think that the take rate for FSD is still going to be like maybe, so let's say it's 10-15% right now with the 400,000 people. They really don't think it's going to go more than double. Maximum is double. And I'm like, gosh, if this is good and it keeps getting better, by the second half of this year, I'm going to see at least 3 times what it is today, minimum for me.
But I don't mean that they are going to start receiving revenue. I mean, in Canada, because this did roll out in Q1, they can account for some of that
I see.
deferred revenue.
Gotcha.
And for that matter, they've already started beta testing in Europe and Australia. There are people who have received some of it in Australia. Maybe some of that will hit in this quarter. Maybe a lot more of it will hit next quarter in Q2. These deferred revenue opportunities can still be counted. Because what I'm trying to get at here is that the earnings per share for Q1, which are being predicted to be abysmal, may not be that bad. They may actually be fine, or closer to it. Now, I don't generally predict earnings because I've never been able to model it in a way that is accurate and reliable.
Yeah.
Don't tell that to the Wall Street analysts. Theirs is also unpredictable and unreliable, but it's their living, and I don't want them to feel bad about themselves. If we're going to talk about one-time deals, maybe we should talk about the one time this is going to end any day now. Now, this article is from 2022. I tried to find ones that were more current, even 23 and 24, and there are not many. But there's a lot from 2018, 19, 2020, because these are this one-time thing that just doesn't seem to end. Tesla had a stockpile of nearly 752,000 at the end of 2020, and I don't know what the number is now. But with other automakers increasing their internal combustion sales without significantly increasing their EV sales, surely the market for these ZEV credits is getting stronger over the short term. What do you think of that?
Yes. In fact, it's growing, isn't it? The ZEV credits, because we've got the legacy car makers pulling back in their sales and their creation of these cars. And so it's just going to continue for a long time. A long time.
A long time. In some markets, we'll see it diminish somewhat or entirely by 2030 as internal combustion sales are just done. As we get closer, I hope to see it continue dropping. And Tesla's heavily subsidized. No, man, these rules are for everyone. If you would like to start your own company and collect your own ZEV credits by building clean energy vehicles, you are welcome to. This is open to you. It's open to Stellantis. It's open to everyone. It just turns out it's really hard to actually make an EV and sell it to have credits available to sell. There's one other thing I wanted to bring up, and I don't think this is going to make any difference this quarter, but for the future, Tesla stands to earn billions by opening US charging stations to non-Teslas.
That's the future. Yeah.
That's the future. How many cars in Q1 charged at a supercharger that were not a Tesla? I'm going to guess in vehicle count in the thousands, charging sessions, not 100,000. And even if you're making $5 per session or $20 per session, we're not even talking about $1 million yet.
Yeah. Whenever I hear people say, oh yeah, superchargers, it's not a big deal, the numbers aren't really that big. This guy is saying here 6 billion to 12 billion in annual charging revenue by 2030. I think you have to think about the margins though. This is almost pure margin. I mean, not 100%, but I mean, it's a lot of it is going to be just margin for Tesla. It doesn't cost them any more to create these because they were going to do it anyways for their own customers.
They do have to pay for the juice, but I think the markup is about double, that they're getting a good fat margin on it.
Until they put Megapacks and they put solar panels and every one of these things, then they can reduce that juice cost significantly.
Absolutely.
So this is the future. But for this quarter, the thing I am worried about, of course, is the Model 3 Highland. We call it the Highland, but the Model 3 new vehicle that was launched. And then you got the Cybertruck. It's just so early that's going to be a drag on margins until the second half of this year, where all of a sudden it's going to be one of the most profitable vehicles ever made. But we're not going to see that in the first quarter when it just launched. So those two will be a drag for this quarter, right?
Perhaps I disagree. I've had a chance to talk with a couple engineers and a couple
Yeah.
parts suppliers to ask them, what does it actually cost to build the Cybertruck today? And the
Yeah.
number that we all kind of came up with collectively was about
80,000. Yeah.
80,000. So
Right.
so that would be a good fat margin. And then when we talk about Cyber Beast, it
Yeah.
doesn't cost 20 grand to put in a third motor.
120. Yeah. Yeah.
Right, 20 grand extra for a third motor. It doesn't cost that. It
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
cost that. And further to the margin point, they've got some pre-sold accessories in the Foundation series that they haven't shipped yet. Now that money would be counted as like as a loan basically, but it is still coming in. I think Wall Street is going to guess low on the earnings per share. Tesla will beat. Nope, Tesla didn't give guidance. Tesla didn't give guidance. You guys got your math wrong, as they do, but they do it so consistently. It's their profession. How? I don't understand stock astrology, but these guys,
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah,
they
yeah.
do.
So they didn't give guidance, which is a good thing, but it's all about what is built in, what's not built in, right? And so we did see the stock fall significantly in the last, month or two, and so that's why, it only fell 5% after the earnings or the production delivery numbers were came out. Now the question is, by April 23rd, earnings per share, the actual numbers come out. Is this already built in? Are people already bracing for a nightmare quarter? As we've heard some terms like this, right? It's rip the band-aid quarter. Dan Ives calls it that. So they're already talking about it. They're already experiencing. They're recognizing it. So then it's what is built in, and that's the game of stocks. It's like nobody knows what is already built in and what's not built in, right? And
No.
that's where you just can't predict what will happen.
No, and that's why short-term traders exist and why they're able to make money is because they only need, it's like the blackjack table. You only need a very small advantage to the house for them to be the ultimate winner over time. And while you and I might be looking, I need a 10%, a 50, 100% gain, the
Yeah.
day traders need a 0.01% gain, but with volume. And so as long as they can make that work, they're going to. And remember, the biggest thing to keep in mind about all of the analysts and all of the traders is that they don't make money when you make money. They make money regardless. They make money when you trade. Buy and sell and rinse and repeat and shampoo and lather. I think I might have gotten my to-do list mixed up. But I think all of it works either way. Yeah, so guys, in the comments, what did we miss? What are some upsides that we may have misunderstood or failed to consider? What are some downsides that we may have failed to consider? And if you want to support the channel, it's appreciated. You can sponsor me on Patreon or YouTube or X. There might be some bonus content. There might not. I'm very busy and I apologize, but I've got to just keep moving forward. Everybody else, like, subscribe, do the usual things. And Herbert, thank you for joining me. Head over to his channel, Brighter. He does some fantastic work, of course. And everybody else, stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots on or before the big day of the earnings call.